Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PMDC online lecture room. This is Mussarat Khan, and today we are going to talk about English Advance short story Neither Night Nor Day. As I said earlier, in English Advance second year course, this is chapter number 10 and it's a short story which is named as Neither Night Nor Day. This story is written by Pakistani woman writer Sabine Javeri Jilani. Neither Night Nor Day is one of the 13 short stories which are written by Pakistani women authors. This book tells the readers about Pakistani mindset. The story after which the book has been written is named as Neither Night Nor Day. It shows the struggle of a Pakistani woman in Britain as she tries to establish her identity in a foreign land. Readers learn about her insecurities and uncertainties. This short story starts with the author getting off from a tube at Tooting Broadway station, which is in London, England. This part of London was basically populated by Asians. Most of them were Pakistanis, Indians, and etc. The narrator first went to an Asian restaurant which was named as Karachi House. There she bought biryani for herself. People which she saw at the road were different young girls who were wearing Asian dresses, different brightly colored shalwar kameez and dupatta. The restaurant Karachi House was filthily, you can say, populated by most of the customers, and most of them were Asians. Then she talks about the weather of London, that although it was 2 p.m. in the afternoon, but because of the heavy grey clouds that eclipsed the sun, it was neither night nor day. While the story gets ahead, the narrator or the author, she talks about the way Asian shopkeepers deal in London, in that part of London. She tells the readers that the usual way of shopkeepers calling out the price, as Pakistan is not usual in this part of London, they take £1 for the things from Pakistani refugees, but for the Indians there is no bargain and the price is fixed. Then the British white shirts, who are the working class of British people, they are given the benefit and the favor of paying whatever money they want to pay as a price. Then in the story, the narrator talks about how she is given a flyer by a man in the restaurant with the in the Karachi house with the biryani. And while she is walking at the road, she takes on the flyer from the paper bag and wants to throw that in the trash bin. But while she was about to throw that flyer in the dustbin or trash bin, she hesitated, and because of the deep beliefs that were set in her heart by her mother in her childhood, because she lived in her childhood in Karachi, that anything or any paper on which the name of Allah Almighty is written is should not be thrown somewhere, especially in the trash bins or places, because it is considered a sin. She talks about this belief that even she doesn't care about such things because she's living in a Western country, but she is unable to practice or to discard such beliefs from her heart, even though while she's living in the Western country. While going away from that Karachi Biryani house, the narrator was going towards Shabnam Beauty Parlor. On the way, she was looking at the people in the streets. Most of them were Asians from Asian countries and South Asian countries. Now, in the street, there were a group of young boys, Arabian boys, who were handing out pamphlets, and they were favoring the Muslims of Palestine and Iraq, and they were calling out the Muslim brothers to help them financially by giving donations and to uh, try to raise a voice to stop the wars in those two countries. She was telling about the environment of that part of London, that it was like the Asian countries because of the dress up the people were having, and the mullahs who were calling out the Muslims for prayers. So she, for a moment, thought that she was in her own native country, but then she reminded herself by touching the passport which was in the pocket of her jacket, and then she calls her passport like a flying carpet in the Arabian Nights, because of that passport she can get away from any country and can go and be a resident of any country which she want to be. Then the author tells about the Shabnam Beauty Parlor, how it was gaudily decorated, and how there were different mixed scented scents were there of perfumes and agarbatti and different things, ammonia as well. She talks about the parlor, that she went to the parlor for having her eyebrows threaded, and then she talks about the beautician that was there. Her name was Motia. She tells the story of Motia, that Motia came from Lahore, and she basically escaped a brutal marriage because her husband was very cruel physically. He used to beat her badly, and therefore she came to England, uh, where her brother and sister-in-law were living, and she used to live with them. And that's why this parlor and different shops in that part of London, Tooting Broadway, were owned by her brother and sister-in-law. But she was made to work in the parlor 12 hours a day and even not paid the wages. Then when she is completed with the eyebrows threaded in the parlor, she goes towards another place in that area, Tooting Broadway. And there's a shopkeeper whose name is Abdullah. He's from Pakistan and he sells Pakistani produced mangoes, especially from Pakistani. And the author feels very proud because mangoes of Pakistan are very famous all over the world for their delicious taste. And she talks about this rare pleasure which she steal here in this Western country by buying mangoes, and tells the reader that how she's gonna eat it in the very specific way which we Pakistani eat, by rubbing it with the mouth and like sucking all the juicy material from the mango. The reason of the author telling the readers all about the things which she does at this place is that the life of Asian people in the Western countries, how they manage to steal the little pleasures of life and the little things that they used to love in their own native country. She tells the reader that these are not the usual visits which she pays in, you can say, in London. She really goes to this place only for buying the things, only for having those experiences which she loved in her native country, and how people or the natives of the Western countries, they even don't understand how these things are important and it gives pleasure to them. She tells the readers that the smell of biryani and mango is not liked by the native Westerns. She tells about Jack, her husband, that even he does not like the way she eats mangoes or the smell of curries and biryanis, all the Asian food, which she really cooks at home, sometimes cooks at home, or her hobby, or you can say a habit of watching Indian movies. She loved to watch Indian movies, but she tells about the experience that when she made Jack watch that movie and he was feeling very tortured after watching such movies. So there are personality and character traits differences between two people or the people of two different countries, and especially two different countries which are socially and culturally different from each other. The Asian countries, which are culturally, food wise, dresses wise and mind and like the mindset, all of the things are different in such countries. But how the people who migrate from the Asian countries to the Western countries manage to live among those people and manage to live their life peacefully and happily, and how they sacrifice some of their small, very small pleasures in living such lives. So basically, this story is about an Asian girl who have migrated to a Western country and how she is cooperating and what is her mindset in that Western countries, and what are the things which she misses. And this is the general, you can say, view which we can take for the people who have such lives in the world. So this was all about this short story, neither night nor day. If you have any questions or queries, you can ask me through this email address or WhatsApp number. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.